Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Eunice Ayton, and I'm your worship associate today. I'm joined by Reverend Sean Wiltshire, our minister, Beth Saverson, our director of music ministries, and Karen Magoon Pearson, who is our director of religious education for children and youth, in welcoming you this morning. We also would like to recognize the many volunteers that have helped to put this service together today. We respectfully recognize that our church property rests on Ahachiman and Tongva land. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many different beliefs, but we are one loving community. We are bound together not by a common set of rules or beliefs, but rather a covenant. A covenant is a promise that whatever our beliefs, we accept one another and encourage each other in spiritual growth. We affirm that all life has inherent value and that all existence is interconnected. We strive for justice and compassion in our deeds and relationships, and we are committed to creating a welcoming community without regard to the traits that sometimes divide people. To our roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phone. For our Zoomers, we invite you to say hello in the chat. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you will find it here. Later in the service, we will have an opportunity for you to introduce yourself, if you'd like to do so. Let our worship begin with the lighting of our chalice as we say our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to speak truth in love, and to help one another. This we affirm together.
Good morning. Let's sing our opening song together. Please rise in body or spirit. Come sing a song with me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when home is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love to earth in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love that
welcome to this very special service here at Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church. Today we celebrate two wonderful rituals. The first is a child dedication, which we haven't done in a really long time. The Magoon Pearson family is here to dedicate their children to the church. We're very excited about that. And then we also, of course, have our annual flower communion. And if you've never been a part of it, you're going to hear more about it and how it came to be. But let us begin with the opening, our worship with these words. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches. Some of us grow alone. Some of us they're cupped inward, and some of us spread ourselves out wide. Some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud. Some of us grow low to the ground, right? Some of us stretch toward the sun, and some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell, but all of us are beautiful. What a wonderful, beautiful bouquet of people we are.
It takes a whole village to raise our children. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We all, everyone, must share the burden. We all, everyone, will share the joy. It takes a whole village to raise our children. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We all, everyone, must share the burden. We all, everyone, will share the joy.
Hey, 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 hey.
let us begin with the ceremony of dedication. This is a special time for the community to bless a child and celebrate the blessings of the gifts that they bring. As we dedicate a child, we acknowledge the truth that each child's life is sacred. We Unitarian Universalists, we understand that we're all part of this interconnected web of all existence, and so too is our community. We are who we are in part because of the love and guidance and inspiration and ideals that we receive, especially from those who are around us, particularly our parents. And the church community has the privileged role not only of supporting the parents in the sacred task of nurturing life, but is also weaving the threads of culture, history, values, arts, wisdom, and vision into a fabric that can enfold the entire family. So as we dedicate the children this morning, I'd like to ask Nancy Lockery, who is the president of the Board of Trustees, up here to join me.
For centuries, parents have brought their children to holy places to present them to their community, to dedicate them in faith. As we gather to celebrate this community, we are mindful of the hope and promise that young life can bring. The children have been brought today to this religious community to be dedicated. We bless and dedicate these children out of our own commitment as a congregation to their religious, spiritual, and emotional growth. Through this ritual, we join the parents in their concern and compassion for their young lives. We add our commitment to theirs in the knowledge that all of us will share the responsibility for these children. By this dedication, we acknowledge our love and support for these children in the life of this congregation. By this dedication, we give thanks for who they are and who they will become. By this dedication, we express our sincere commitment to love and nurture these children as part of our larger family. I'd like to invite the Magoon Pearson family to come forward, including the grandparents.
Awesome. All right, so Karen and Jonathan, in bringing your children here to be dedicated, you acknowledge the need for loving care and your determination to guide them with understanding and commitment. Your affection and devotion will support them for all their lives. Do you promise to the best of your ability, by your example, your love, and your wisdom, to lead these children to seek truth, creating just communities, and caring for one another? All right, grandparents, you have a special place in the life of these children. You represent the link to the past, to their heritage, and represent the fulfillment of a generation that came before. Will you promise to love Jaden, Derek, Dominic, and Julian, to tell them your family stories, whether they're good ones or bad ones, so they feel connected to their heritage and know that they are part of a larger family? If so, say we will.
We will.
And will you, members and friends of the Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church, whether you're roomers or zoomers, take upon yourselves the sacred privilege and responsibility of nurturing their character and spirit, pledging to them and to their parents the love and care of this congregation? If so, say or write in the chat, we will.
We will.
All right, well, to dedicate these children, we use two different elements. So we have the water that symbolizes purity and nurturing, having been blessed by this congregation during our water ceremony in the fall. And a rose is the symbol of life unfolding in all of its strength, its grace, and possibility. So as I'm going to bless Jaden, Derek, Dominic, and Julian one at a time, Nancy will also give them a gift. And as I use these elements to bless them, I'm going to invite you to join me in speaking the blessing for each one of them. All right. Jaden, may your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. And may your hands be blessed, for the work of your hands be blessed all the days of your life. Please join me. May your thoughts be wise. May your lips speak truth. May your heart know love. May the work of your hands be blessed all the days of your life. All right, Derek. May your thoughts be wise, your lips speak truth, your heart love, and the work of your hands be blessed all the days of your life. All right. This is Julian, huh? Julian. May your thoughts be wise, your lips speak truth, your heart know love, and the work of your hands be blessed all the days of your life. And this is Dominic, huh? All right, Dominic. May your thoughts be wise, your lips speak truth, your heart be love, and the work of your hands all the days of your life. There you go. I'm going to invite the family now to process around the congregation, and as they pass, I invite you to hold out your hands and offer your own individual blessings to these children. If you're a Zoomer, I invite you to write them in the chat. I have a couple of blessings from people who are watching you on Zoom right now for you. Linda C. says, may you each find love and compassion throughout your long, long lives. And Marilyn offers, may you always feel the love that surrounds you. Amen to all of that. Let us sing.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Give us the child who lives within, the child who trusts, the child who imagines, the child who sings, the child who receives without reservation, the child who gives without judgment.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Give us a child's eyes, that we may receive the beauty and freshness of this day like a sunrise. Give us a child's ears, so that we may hear the music of mythical times. Give us a child's heart, that we may be filled with wonder and delight.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Give us a child's faith, that we may be cured of our cynicism. Give us the spirit of the child who is not afraid to need, who is not afraid to love.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
As most of you know, Karen Magoon Pearson is also our Director of Religious Education, and today she would like to say some particular thank yous to the teachers here.
Good morning. Thank you all for being here. It's so wonderful to see all of you. So, some of you might know we have an award called the Joan Gillen Award that we give out every year to a religious education volunteer who's really done a lot. And you know what? This year has been a lot after another year that had been a lot, right? So all of our religious education teachers had been so committed when we went online during COVID. They were teaching online. They were figuring out Zoom. You know, how do we share music? How do we share videos? How do we do this? And then when I came on again in July, we were finally meeting back in person, but we were going over to Estancia Park, as you know. And so our teachers were getting there earlier than they used to have to, and they were leaving a lot later. And on the days they were teaching, they didn't get to be around their friends during coffee hour because they were busy watching all our children so that we could be here and go to the service and go to coffee hour. So I've been amazed at how dedicated our teachers have been, and that's why we're giving the Joan Gillen Award to all of our teachers this year. And I just want to say, you know, it's really meant a lot to me coming on this year, seeing how dedicated all of our teachers have been. It's been a hard job, you know, as kids have like not even been used to like being around other kids, so then they were suddenly like, woo, other kids, let's go crazy, you know, et cetera, and they've all just handled it so well and stuck with us, and so I really appreciate that. So I'm going to call the names of our teachers, so if I call your name, if you could stand up or raise your hand if that's easier, and Jaden and Derek are going to come up, right? Jaden and Derek, can you come up? All right, Gabrielle Block. Just stay standing until you get something from me, or your hand. Maria Good. Rob Gordon. Tatiana Hauser. Elizabeth Kilshaware. Jock Kilshaware. Brianna Malone. Anka Popescu. Birdie Reed. Louise Sherkar, who's actually from the Orange County Friends and comes over and helps us. Judith Stamper. And Reverend Judy Tomlinson. Got everybody. All right, I think once we got Birdie, we got everyone. So please join me in one more time in sending gratitude to all of our teachers. Thank you.
It takes a village, and our teachers are some of the leaders of that village. All right, so as I mentioned, we have two special rituals. The first was our child dedication, and now is time for our second, the flower communion. So we're going to celebrate our flower communion by blessing all of the flowers, and I'd like to invite the ushers, and Ulysses and I are going to bring forth our flowers to place them down there. And for you, those of you who are on Zoom, I invite you to find a flower, bring it near you. It could be virtual or actual, physical, if you haven't already done so. Let us begin. Pretty lovely, huh? Well, this flower communion was started in Czechoslovakia by Reverend Norbert Čapek. He was a Unitarian minister, and on June 4th, 1923, almost 99 years ago, he created this ritual because he felt he had grown disillusioned with the Christian ritual of communion that felt for him exclusionary and had lost its meaning and relevance to him. His church was a lot like ours, filled with people of diverse beliefs, and he wanted to honor that diversity. Čapek said this about the flower communion. He said, "Our common bouquet would not be the same without the unique addition of each individual flower, and thus it is with our church community. It would not be the same without each and every one of us. Thus this service is about community." And so it is today. Each of these flowers, some are from gardens, some are from fields, some of them are from Trader Joe's, but each of them represent the uniqueness of each one of us. No two are alike, and what a beautiful bouquet they make. Now, every year we Unitarian Universalists celebrate the flower communion by bringing the community together and to lift up Čapek's vision that we are all siblings to one another and to humanity, no matter how different. We celebrate this flower communion in part also to remember that Čapek was killed in a concentration camp for his radical ideas of inclusivity and community. He was considered by the Reich too dangerous to live. As we do this, and we also do this in part to remember that diversity of thought and person must always be protected and nurtured in our churches and in our nation. So let us bless these flowers together by reading the words that Reverend Čapek used about 99, almost 100 years ago. Together. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and gifts, to be one in desire and affection and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of community, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish community as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize whatever we do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in the world. Blessed be, and amen. Now Karen has a story to tell.
So do you know that the annual ritual of flower communion came about because of 3 young children? How appropriate today. Their names were Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora. And they were the 3 children of Norbert Čapek's children. They were 3 of Norbert Čapek's children, the man who created the flower communion service. You see, he loved them very much, being a good and loving father, and wanted only good things for them. He had been a Baptist minister, but he decided that he didn't believe what Baptists believe anymore. Instead, he believed in the inherent goodness of all people and in a loving God. So he left that church, no longer wanting to be a minister there, but he wanted still to have a church, in particular for Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora. He wanted them to know about their own goodness and a loving God. So he went church shopping, which means he visited lots of churches to find one that he liked. Some of you may have done that before. And after every service, the family would go home for lunch, and the father, Norbert, would quiz the 3 of them, Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora, about what they learned in their Sunday school class. And every time he was disappointed. They weren't learning about the goodness of humanity or about a loving God. So the next week, he would try a different church. You see, Norbert believed in religion, even if he didn't always believe in their God. He believed that religion could be a place where people of all shapes and sizes of all beliefs and philosophies, of all colors and creeds, could come together and help create a better world. He believed that we should all search for truth with our minds and our hearts. And so he kept looking. One day someone mentioned to him, "Why don't you try that Unitarian church?" Anybody else ever had that suggestion made to them? So the next Sunday he went to the service at the First Unitarian Church of Essex County in New Jersey. And as usual, his children, Gabriella, Radislav, and Zora, went off to their religious education classes. The service seemed pretty good, but that wasn't the big test. Afterwards, he sat his children down and asked them what they learned. And he was amazed. This church taught their children that they were good and full of promise. Here was a place that spoke of a loving God, if you wanted to believe in God, and you didn't have to. So the next Sunday, Norbert came back, and he kept coming back. And that's how Norbert, his wife Maya, and their children became Unitarians. Not long after, Norbert became a Unitarian minister. But Norbert and his family also longed to go home to their native country of Czechoslovakia. So they went there with the help of many other Unitarians, and they built the biggest Unitarian church in the whole country. And it all happened because Norbert loved his children. Years later, when Zora was grown, people asked her, "Why did your father choose the flower as a symbol?" And she told them, because, unlike other religious symbols, no one ever started a war because of a flower. And that's our story.
So we often in the past have done flower communion at the end of the service. We each choose a flower as we end the service, but today I'd like to do a little bit differently. And if you're a Zoomer, I'd like to ask you that you gently take a flower that you have and hold it in front of you reverently. Please handle it carefully. It has come into your life for this purpose. And if you're a Roomer, I ask that each of you in turn approach this table and, again, reverently, kindly, with a sense of how important it is for each of us to address the world and one another with gentleness, justice, and love. I ask that you select a flower different from the one that you brought that particularly appeals to you. And as you take your chosen flower and return to your seat, I again invite you to meditate on it, noting its particular shape and beauty, and to handle it carefully, because it is a gift that someone else brought for you, and it represents that person's unique humanity and deserves your kindest touch. So in a spirit of meditation, I invite you to come forward. again, I invite you to go into a spirit of meditation, maybe take a couple of deep breaths and gaze upon this flower you have in front of you. Notice all the different parts that are there. Maybe you have multiple flowers, all on one stem. It has petals, the stem to hold it up, has a center, it has stamen, all sorts of different parts to it. Take loving note of them. Because just like flowers, you too are made up of different parts. I invite you to become aware too of your body and its different parts. Also, treating it with love and relaxing into your body. And this flower you hold in front of you, it was nurtured by a lot of different things, by the sun, the rain, water, and soil. People maybe weeded around it, clipped at it to make it flourish. It was then gathered, plucked or pulled from the earth to be brought here today, to be gathered into this bouquet by others. And most likely you don't even know who. And like this flower, you too were nurtured. You were loved, taught, influenced, directed by many people in your life, whether they were teachers or parents, friends, colleagues, even strangers. So this morning, I want to invite you to mindfully, gently, and lovingly maybe touch each petal or each flower, different parts of what you hold in front of you. And as you do so, I invite you to silently speak in soft whispers, or just speak it in your mind, the name of someone maybe in this church who has touched your life, someone who has nurtured you. If you're new to the church, think of maybe other churches you've been in and the people who nurtured you there. Then I invite you to touch another petal. Name a friend who has touched your life. Then another petal or flower. Name a family member. How about teachers? Colleagues or classmates? And what about a stranger, someone you've met that changed you? Those serendipitous moments that just happen. And then there's the stem. You can think of it as you. And I invite you to consider who or what holds you up when times get hard. How do you nurture yourself? When you're ready, come fully back into this room. Your flowers and stems all here and present. You know, each of us are here because we were nurtured by so many others. We've been molded and nurtured by a village of people, or maybe you want to call it a bouquet of people. They may not all have been in the same place in our lives, but they've been there nonetheless. This church is part of that village. And today we recognize that we too are part of a village for others. And our children are precious to us. A beautiful bouquet of flowers already blooming, Let us all be the village they need, a nurturing place where they can grow and become their beautiful selves. Let us sing.
Please rise in body or spirit. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Feel the need to grow my own, 'cause the time is close at hand. Grain for grain, sun and rain, find my way in nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. Plant your rows straight and long, temper them with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. Old crow watching hungrily from its perch in yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as that feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone warm them from below till the rain comes tumbling down.
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. This month, we are supporting Sandy Hook Promise. They envisions a future where children are free from shooting and acts of violence in their school, home, and communities. There are multiple ways in which you can support the church and this organization. You can mail a check, you can go through our website, use an app called Venco Mobile, or sending a check. The choice is yours. All the information is on our website should you need it. As always, thank you for your generosity.
From nights of to sing along with me this offertory response that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitude for the many gifts we share.
Gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
So one more ritual today. This is a weekly ritual, not one we do every week. This is a ritual we call Joys and Sorrows. It's a time when you can honor the important events and people in your lives. We do this by inviting people to light a candle. And if you would like to also to share it with the congregation, you're welcome to either, if you're on Zoom, write it in the chat, or if you're here in the room, you can write it out on a slip of paper that the ushers have if you didn't already get one. So I'd like to invite you to simply come forward and light a candle if you would like to honor your joy or sorrow, and then I will read them out loud. Please come forward. read those online first here, so Zoomers. Let's see here. First, Matthew has a joy because he received a full-time job offered as a server at a nursing home in Brea, which is starting soon. And of course, he has the concern that money will be tight for a bit, but he's going to swim to the other side. He's going to get there. And Barbara Schilling has a candle of joy. She said, this coming weekend I'll be attending my family reunion in Fresno. It's been a long time since so many of us have been able to get together. A few new babies have been added to the family. I wonder if they're COVID babies. And then Linda Clough would like to have a candle of love and hope for her daughter Valerie and grandson Jake. And here in the room, we have, let's see here, Tracy is a candle of joy. She says, my incredibly hardworking wife graduated nursing school, and I couldn't be more proud of her. We're going to nursing school during a pandemic was no easy feat. Amen. And Sarah H. also has a candle of joy. She says, our children were with us this past week, and it brought great joy to her husband, Rob, and herself. She said, Rob is doing so well. As many of you know, he's been diagnosed with cancer, and he's touchingly touched by everyone's love. And Simone Bentley would like a candle of gratitude. She says for her family in Oregon who recovered from Omicron last month, including 3 children, and gratitude for D-Day. Amen. And I'd like to offer also one more candle of joy that we could light, because we have a special guest here today, someone who was nurtured by this congregation, Alex Winnett, who is now Reverend Alex Winnett. So congratulations. Wonderful. I'm glad you're here. So let us hold in love all the joys and celebrations and all the hurts and sadness, whether they were spoken or silent. Let our joys remind us to be thankful, our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. Please join Judith in a spirit of prayer.
This is from For the Flowers Have a Gift of Language by Reginald Zolotti. The flowers have the gift of language. They transport the human voice on winds of beauty. They lift the melody of song to our ears. They paint the eye and hand of the artist. Their fragrance binds us to sweet-smelling earth. May the blessing of the flowers be upon you. May their beauty beckon to you each morning, and their loveliness lure you each day, and their tenderness caress you each night. May their delicate petals make you gentle, and their eyes make you aware. May their stems make you sturdy, and their reaching make you care. Amen.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of the community, or the fire of commitment. This we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you for joining us this morning. We are a congregation made up of people who all believe differently. And yet, when we gather together, whether we are in a room or on Zoom, we make up one loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. If you are a guest, a visitor, or someone who isn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become a part of this beloved community. We encourage you to either write in the chat, or if if you're a Zoomer or if you're a roomer, to stand for a brief moment and tell us your name and where you are from. We need the.
My name is Steve Magoon, and I'm from Garden Grove.
Welcome.
I'm Jill Kingdon, and this is my family's is Reed and my partner Amber, and we're from Rancho Santa Margarita.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Thomas. I think this is my 4th time here, and I have brought back your house or church guests that you had, Maya and Ihor. They were staying up here. They're Ukraine refugees that are camping out at my house.
Welcome.
I'm Ellen Pearson and my husband Rick, and we're here for our family.
Welcome.
As Sean said, my name is Reverend Alex Hader-Winnett, and this is my wife Christine Hader-Winnett, Reverend, and our son Elliot Hader-Winnett. And I grew up at Mesa Verde and Baker, but now we live in Davis.
Welcome. If you'd like to know more about our church, including programming for our youth and children, please contact us at hello@ocuc.org, and we will help you get connected. In addition, we invite you to sign up for our weekly email called The Blast at blast@ocuc.org. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community. So please reach out and we will help you get connected.
Yes, if you want to sign up for that blast, just see someone at the welcome table after the service and they'll get you all signed up. So announcements. Today's a big day. We have our annual meeting. So all members, everybody's invited to attend. Members, we ask that you attend so that we can vote on our budget, and we elect new officers and all sorts of fun stuff. Awards to be given, all sorts of fun things. I do want to make a quick announcement. If you didn't see the email that I sent out earlier this week, as you may know, we are also sponsoring a Afghan family here as well. We're in desperate need of a pickup truck to help haul some things. We've got people donating things. If you know of someone who has a pickup truck who you think would be really helpful, let me know. All those sorts of things. The other thing that we really need is a washer dryer, because this family is 9 people. And you can imagine they need a washer dryer pretty desperately. So either of those things, send it out to your contacts, to everybody that you know that we're having this. So like I said, we have the annual meeting. The other thing, in the grand tradition of this church, there is cake afterwards. Oh yeah. And it's kind of a funky cake, but you'll see. They were not hugely imaginative, but we'll just imagine all the flowers that could be on it. So, all right, let us sing our benediction.
Let us go out and all do our part. Let us go out, bring joy to each other. Let us go out with the difference is joy. Let us go out with joy one more time. Let us go out and all do our part. Let us go out, bring joy to each other. Let us go out with the difference is joy. Let us go out with joy. Let us go out with joy. Let us go out with joy.
You.